Shalom, Brother Aaron, Roy Regime of Yahushua. First and foremost, I'm going to say, call Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. That's all praises to the Heavenly Father, the name of His only begotten Son, through the Holy Spirit. I want to give double honors to the elders and leaders of the nation of Israel who push and teach this truth and sincerity. I also want to say Shalom to the 1/3, that great multitude, men, women, and children that believe wholeheartedly on the scriptures. I want to say Shalom to you. I titled this lesson, Esau coming with great wrath. His time is up. All right. And the closer we get to the end of Esau's rule, okay, the end of the world will never completely end and go on forever. When we say the end of the world, when the Bible talk about the end of a world, it's the end of an age, okay, an end of a particular age of this current age of rulership that happens to be Esau's rule at the moment, the so-called white man. Well, he is at the end, according to prophecy. Okay, and the Bible talks about this, okay, Revelations 12 and 12. Okay, the devil coming down with great wrath because he has but a short time. So we are seeing this being implemented in beginning with what wild, radical, draconian laws, okay, legislation and laws that's being passed down. Okay, it's coming under the pretense of one thing, okay, well, to stop crime or violence, but it's really stripping more rights away from the people. Oh, no due process, no right to trials, just whoever goes against the grain or the narrative. Specifically, this is going to be targeted towards the children of the Lord, those specifically the men of the Lord, those prophets, those of us who's speaking truth on identifying the evil within this earth. Okay, but nonetheless, the devil is going to use his laws, okay, the pen to target and come after, okay, anybody that withstands, and particularly the righteous. All right, so let's open up first. Let me grab a video.
This is incredibly important, so everybody stop what you're doing, share, repost, do whatever you can to make sure people know about this. Because something flew under the radar for a lot of people yesterday. Something that cannot be explained and does not make sense, except under certain circumstances. Yesterday, Trump signed an executive order called Strengthening and Unleashing America's Law Enforcement to Pursue Criminals and Protect Innocent Citizens. Like most things the Republicans do, it is a misnomer and pretends that it does something it doesn't. But there's a certain section you should look at. You can pause to read this, but it says that within 90 days of the order, the Attorney General, the Secretary of Defense, and the Secretary of Homeland Security increase military and national security assets in local jurisdictions to assist state and local law enforcement. This literally says that within 3 months of this order being signed yesterday, the heads of these agencies are supposed to use the military for local policing. This is something that is currently already illegal under the Posse Comitatus Act. The federal government and the military cannot be used to enforce domestic policies. And as many people have pointed out already, there's only 2 ways that he can actually use this executive order to have the military do local policing. That is by somehow having Congress overturn the Posse Comitatus Act, which is never going to happen, or by him invoking the Insurrection Act and putting us under martial law. There is literally no other way that executive order would work. This is something that everybody should be alarmed about.
Let's talk about Trump's newest executive order. I posted about it previously saying it was Trump calling for martial law. I had people flooding my comments saying it's not martial law. Do you even know what martial law is? Do you know what due process is? Do you know what federal courts are? Do you know what the Constitution is? Because Trump has repeatedly attacked every single one of those things. He does not care. This administration does not care about the rule of law. It uses censorship and propaganda in so many forms to demonize and generalize groups of people to make them easier targets amongst their supporters. They have eliminated due process to imprison and deport innocent people to concentration camps, regardless of legal status. They have imprisoned and deported legal U.S. residents, work permit holders, people who have been granted asylum, people going through the legal immigration process. They have deported children who are U.S. citizens. The regime has imprisoned students for peacefully protesting the genocide they are funding and facilitating. They are labeling anyone they want a criminal or terrorist without proof, kidnapping them with no warrants, revoking visas without cause, and imprisoning them without due process. And they've begun arresting judges. I said this new executive order is a call for martial law because that's exactly what it is. The Trump regime does not adhere to the formal practices. It does not adhere to the rule of law or our system of checks and balances. This is the next step. This is the next mile they are taking after being given all kinds of inches. And they are doing it under the guise of fighting the illegal alien invasion, which is a big fucking lie. If you read the executive order, you can see that they are talking about investing in the capacity of prison. They're talking about militarizing the police, deploying military and national security assets into local jurisdictions, holding state and local officials accountable, off the tail end of arresting a judge, so we know what that means. And they are talking about prosecuting those who take part in diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. If an administration is talking about prosecuting people for diversity, equity, and inclusion, you should probably infer that that administration is fucking bad. We need to understand the scope and the gravity of what all of this means and treat it as such. We can't mince words. From the guy who wants a military parade in Washington, D.C. for his birthday, when Donald Trump repeatedly says he's going to do some fascist shit, that's the only time to believe him, because that's when he's consistent. They've already invoked the Alien Enemies Act to give ICE immunity and the power to break into people's homes and kidnap them without having a warrant. They're this close to invoking the Insurrection Act. What's happening in this country is all encompassing. And if you've actually been paying attention, you'd be ringing the alarm bells too. This is not normal. This is fascism. This is not me fear-mongering, as some people call it. It's literally the exact opposite. Do not be afraid of these stupid fascists under this idiotic dictator wannabe. This is a call to preparation and organization, and a reminder to our service members to please uphold your oath to the Constitution.
President Trump has just officially declared martial law as of today, April 29th, 2025. Yesterday, he signed the executive order called Strengthening and Unleashing America's Law Enforcement to Pursue Criminals and to Protect Innocent Civilians. This is terrifying, and nobody is talking about it except Rolling Stone magazine for some reason. Please go to whitehouse.gov, read the full text here.
Okay, I'm going to stop it there. So basically, as you can see, it's a lot going on, okay, while the world is distracted with frivolous type stuff that don't matter. P. Diddy's trial and 100 Men versus Gorilla and all of this foolishness. These are the executive orders and things that's being passed. Okay, now, why is things becoming so much more aggressive and radical for these laws and these executive orders? Because what? Number one, children of Israel waking up all throughout the earth. As the Bible says, in the last days, knowledge shall increase. Okay, and the truth is out. And the more what the truth is prophesied and come out, the more the children of Israel rise. Two dynamics at work. Jacob, Esau at the end of the day. When Jacob rises, Esau falls, pertaining to prophecy. Okay, so what? Let's grab the script. Let's go to the scriptures, because we're going to see this is going to invoke or cause the devil to come down with great wrath. This is really what all these things are about, these laws. It ain't got nothing to do with legal immigrants or this or that or crime off this. There's always been crime, especially in the black neighborhood. Okay, but the target is for the children of Israel ultimately. So Revelations 12 and 12, let's start there. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time. When it says has but a short time, that's going into what? His rulership on this earth. Okay, the promised seed, as it prophesied, Yahweh Shah's kingdom and his people Jacob, Israel, is the next kingdom of rulership to be. Okay, so being at the end, okay, the devil is coming down with great wrath. This great wrath is in the form of their legislation, as you're starting to see. Let's get verse 17. And the dragon was wrought with the woman. Now we know the woman represents Israel, the nation of Israel. The dragon was wrought with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of Yahweh and have the testimony of Yahweh Shah Mashiach. showing you the war is against the chosen, that remnant. Okay, not all Israel. We get 2/3 of Israel is just that 2/3, but that remnant, the 1/3 who know what's up, whose eyes are open spiritually, who's prophesying against her, who's exposing the wicked deeds of the devil. Okay, that's who the problem or they have an issue with. That's who the dragon is specifically coming to make war with. Okay, the remnant of her seed. Let me grab Deuteronomy 32:35. Because the more they slip, the closer they get to the end, the more draconian, the more radical and aggressive these laws are going to become. What I call Deuteronomy 32:35. To me belongeth vengeance and recompense. Their foot shall slide in due time. And that's what's happening. Their foot, meaning that stronghold that the white man had over the earth. Okay, that grip has been loosened. It's breaking. It's all spiritual. Okay, you don't have the same pull or power, even with the military. Okay, other countries are not scared anymore. They're not backing down. Our people ain't scared of Esau like we once was. People speaking up, telling the truth. Okay, so to me belongeth vengeance and recompense. Their foot shall slide in due time. For the day of their calamity is at hand, and the things that shall come upon him make haste, meaning the prophecies. The prophecy of his fall, all of these things are making haste, meaning coming speedily. All right. Let's see. Let's get let me see. I got a couple more videos I want to play real quick. Let me play this one because he passed this. So this was an old speech, but just listen who this is directed towards.
Safety and defend our communities for law-abiding American citizens. Look, the crime is most rampant right here and in African-American communities, and more people see me and they say, sir, we want protection. We want police to protect us. We don't want to get robbed and mugged and beat up or killed because we want to walk across the street to buy a loaf of bread. They want it so badly. The fake news doesn't talk about it. But the black population wants law enforcement more than any other population.
Okay, so he's saying the black population is crying out for more cops, more military. Now, they know the law was recently passed, military to join local law enforcement. So making the police and military more domestic, to focus on the inner cities. So he's saying what these so-called black people, black communities are crying out for this. They need more law enforcement, more surveillance, more military occupations within their communities. All right, let me play another video.
He's the one who talks about an enemy within, an enemy within, talking about the American people, suggesting he would turn the American military on the American people.
We asked that question to the former president today. Harris Faulkner had a town hall, and this is how he responded.
I heard about that. They were saying I was like threatening. I'm not threatening anybody. They're the ones doing the threatening. They do phony investigations. I've been investigated more than Alphonse Capone. He was the greatest gangster. No, it's true. No, but think of it. It's called weaponization of government. It's a terrible thing.
So,
Brett, I'm sorry, and with all due respect, that clip was not what he has been saying about the enemy within that he has repeated when he's speaking about the American people. That's not what you just showed.
Well, he was asked about that specific...
No, that's not what you just showed. In all fairness and respect to you,
that was the question that we asked him.
You didn't show that, and here's the bottom line. He has repeated it many times, and you and I both know that. And you and I both know that he has talked about turning the American military on the American people.
Your problem is the enemy from within. Not even the people that have come in and destroying our country. By the way, totally destroying our country. The towns, the villages, they're being inundated. But I don't think they're the problem in terms of election day. I think the bigger...
Okay, so as you can see, when referring to the enemy within, now you couple that with the type of laws and executive orders that's being passed and who is it being targeted to and what communities. So if you put two and two together, plus what the scriptures lets us know, the enemy within seems to be these so-called black people, okay, the children of Israel. So like I was saying earlier, the devil come down with great wrath using what? Their legislation, their laws, what the Bible speaks about. Okay, let's get Isaiah 10 and 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. The unrighteous decrees or laws and legislation. Okay, Psalms 94 and 20. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by law? So a lot of these wicked deeds and things that the wicked do, they frame this mischief by using their laws. Okay, Daniel 8 and 25. Because see, it sounds peaceful. Anytime you talk about stopping crime in the ghettos, the black communities, okay, we're going to focus on that people are asking for help. People don't want to go walk to the store, get robbed and things like he was saying. On the surface, that sounds like something good, something righteous for those who don't have understanding. For those, the average simple Jake or 2/3 who hear that, they might go with that. Okay, but like I said, we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. Those of us who know what's up, no, it sounds more like a pretense or a ploy. Okay, and this is what the scripture is talking about, Daniel 8:25. And through his policy also shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. So you see, through his policy, he caused craft to prosper. Though the wicked, all these precepts we read, the wicked frame it mischief by law. Okay, so they're doing this what? Through their legislation, through their policies. Okay, almost every week, okay, it's a new type of legislation, new policy to seem like it's targeting what? Domestically, towards the people, the citizens. All right, let me finish this. So let me read again. Oh, and through his policy also shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. Notice it says by peace he shall destroy many. So that's something that sounds like it's peaceful, sound like it's good on the surface. Who's going to kick against more police in the neighborhood? We need more protection from the thieves, more protection from robbers and violence. See? Let's get Revelations 13 and 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, which had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Now, when it says two horns like a lamb, that's going into the bipartisan political system. In ancient times, it was the plebeians and the patricians. Today is what? Democrat and Republican. Okay, two different sides of the same bird. But notice what it says. I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, which has two horns like a lamb. The lamb represents peace. Okay. And he spake as a dragon. How is he speaking like a dragon? What you see in now, all these radical draconian laws, these harsh laws. What do you mean you lock people up now with no trial, without a jury, just arrest people, take them away to a 4-way island, never to be heard again? Okay, well, this is what this is talking about. Okay, it comes in one form, sounds like peace. Okay, this is a good idea. These people, you heard them say in the video, they're crying, they're asking for this, they're begging for this. They need help, they need protection. Okay, but it's never what it appears to be on the surface. It appears like a lamb, but what? Now it's starting to speak like a dragon. Now the harsh reality of it is starting to sink in now. Okay, the harshness of these laws. Psalms 55 and 20. He putteth forth his hands against such as would peace with him. He had broken his covenant. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, but they were drawn swords. See, the so-called white man is never what it appears to be on the surface. Okay, the natives even said that when they came to the country, verse 20, when he say, put forth his hands against such a peace, he had broken his covenant, broke every last covenant. Okay, we see this today in the form of politics. Everything they say every 4 years, no matter what they say, how much of it they actually do. Don't do none of what they say. Say what sounds good just to get office. Okay, so this is Esau's MO. Verse 21 again, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. The words were softer than all, but they were drawing swords. See, saying one thing, coming in the form of peace with his words, but his actions is violence. All right. Psalms 28 and 3. Let's start it too. Hear the voice of my supplications when I cry unto thee, when I lift my hands towards the holy oracle. Draw me not away with the wicked and with the workers of iniquity, which speak peace to their neighbors, but mischief is in their hearts. See, speaking peace with their mouth, but violence, mischief, evil is within. All right. Let me grab another video. Play this real quick.
By now, we already know who this person is. This is Kilmar Abrego Garcia, 27 years old, a father from Maryland who was kidnapped from his home without due process by ICE and sent over to El Salvador. Mr. Garcia was sent to El Centro de Confinamiento de Terrorismo, or CECOT, which is based in El Salvador. I was trying to figure out why Donald J. Trump and his administration would want to send any American to this facility here. As I was scrolling through TikTok, I stumbled upon a video that actually was able to scroll in to get a better look at this facility from the outside. And this is what we found.
I saw this video showing satellite images of the prison in El Salvador that ICE is sending all of those people to. And they zoomed in into this little corner and you can see what looks like a pile of bodies and a whole lot of blood. So tell me what you guys think that looks like to you. Folks, this is your 2025 concentration camp right here.
I'm not into conspiracy theories, so I went and tested this theory out myself. So I went to Google Maps, I typed in El Centro de Confinamiento, and I kept zooming in. I zoomed in all the way. Keep zooming in. I kept zooming in. All the way into the facility started to come up. Just like the other video did. And lo and behold, what does that look like to you? All of this right here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is 2025's new era of concentration camps. This is why.
All right. Now, the scriptures speak of nothing new being under the sun. Okay, let me get that verse real quick. Ecclesiastes 1 and 9. It says, the thing that had been is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It had been already of old time, which is before us. So prophecy works the same way. Now, within the scriptures, the righteous was always persecuted. Okay, or anybody or those who always stood up, especially for Yahweh Shah. What did it say? Yea, all they that live godly in Yahweh Shah Mashiach to suffer persecution. Okay, so prophets, today's, you have prophets, again, also whistleblowers, people who go against the grain and speak truth, specifically the prophets. Okay, persecution is always in some way, shape, form, or another. Okay, prisons and specifically. Okay, prisons, being incarcerated, even and to put to death. The Bible talks about some even being martyrs in the last days for the sake of the gospel. Okay, so that's nothing new. The same thing has always occurred throughout history. Okay, it's in the scriptures. Okay, even in the future, the Bible warns us. Okay, things like this will be coming. All right, let me get Revelations 2 and 10. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison that ye may be tried. And ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give you a crown of life. Okay, so when it said the devil shall cast some of you into prison, okay, we just painting the picture through the scriptures so it could come together for you. So ain't talking about a red, hairy man with a pitchfork that lives under the ground. Okay, we starting to see this happen now in real time, slowly but surely. Certain things and legislation, these crazy executive laws, legislations being put in place. Now, prophecy lets us know. Okay, a lot of these camps and certain things that's being built, okay, we see the type of people who is being built for, who's going to be put in these places. Okay, the Lord told us, the righteous, the devil will cast some of you into prison. John the Revelator doing his time. Okay, like I stated a minute ago, the men of the Lord before us, same thing happened to them. John the Baptist, not John the Baptist, but John the Revelator was cast away on an island. Okay, the Isle of Patmos, same thing. Let me get that, Revelations 1:9. I, John, who also am your brethren and companion in tribulation and in the kingdom and patience of Yahushua Mashiach, was in the isles that is called Patmos for the word of Yahweh and for the testimony of Yahushua Mashiach. So why was he banned to the Isles of Patmos? It tells us why. Look at the end of this verse, the end of verse 9. It says, let me read the whole thing over. It says, I, John, who also am your brethren and your companion in tribulation and in the kingdom and in patience of Yahushua Mashiach, was in the isles that is called Patmos for the word of Yahweh and for the testimony of Yahushua Mashiach. So for preaching the word, teaching the word, the testimony of Yahushua, he was exiled to this prison somewhere, the Isles of Patmos. Okay, what is the latest thing, or one of the latest things that we hear now all of a sudden in the news pertaining to let me play this video real quick.
Where did you get the idea for reopening Alcatraz? Just an idea I've had, and I guess because the judges, so many of these radicalized judges, they want to have trials for every single, think of it, every single person that's in our country illegally, that came in illegally. That would mean millions of trials, and it's just so ridiculous what's happening. And it's long been a symbol, Alcatraz, of whatever it is. I mean, you know, it's a sad symbol, but it's a symbol of law and order. And, you know, it's got quite a history, frankly. So I think we're going to do that, and we're looking at it right now. Where did you get...
Okay, so now you got Trump ordering them to reopen Alcatraz. Okay, notorious prison. I believe it was in the early 1900s, like 1930s to the 1960s, that they shut down. It housed Capone, some of the most notorious violent criminals. Okay, but now this place is being resurrected or rebuilt, reopening. Okay, to house, you know, who knows? They're not going to come straight out and say it. But once again, we line prophecy up with what we see happening in the earth. Okay, people who speak truth, people who prophesied against Babylon. Okay, whistleblower, things of that nature. All right, let me see if I can find. I thought I had another video on Alcatraz. Let me see something real quick.
But now is...
One moment, let me...
More than 1 million.
Where did...
Are you guys renovating Alcatraz right now?
Donald
Open... Is Alcatraz... Where did you...
Alcatraz will start taking in prisoners again after being closed for more than 60 years. The president says he ordered the Bureau of Prisons, as well as the Justice Department, the FBI, and Homeland Security to update and enlarge the island prison to contain some of the country's most violent criminal offenders. Alcatraz shut down in 1963 because of its crumbling infrastructure, as well as high costs for repairs and to maintain its operation. Is Alcatraz...
Okay, so Basically a prison on the island. Okay, that just remind me when we read the Revelations 1 and 9, like John the Revelator being banned to the Isles of Patmos. Okay, now all of a sudden the last days at this time you want to reopen Alcatraz for whatever reason. Okay, and not only that, but also
so we'll start taking in prisoners again.
Hold on, I had one more video.
Black women.
Let me play this real quick. Because if you put everything together, you take that plus all of us this I think a week or two ago, this habeas corpus. Okay, that's the executive order that's been passed now. You could be taken, arrested, put away. Like I was saying earlier, no trial, no jury, no nothing. Okay, so you put all of these things together and we line this up with scripture. This lets us know what time we in. I'm going to play a little bit of this.
Eliminating or suspending habeas corpus is not just a target towards the immigration or illegal citizens living in this country. Because the fact of the matter is that they can, if they are able to actually suspend habeas corpus, put anybody in jail for any reason without due process. Now, due process, in case you didn't know, let me explain. If you are suspected of doing something, with habeas corpus in place, they have to arrest you on grounds. In other words, they have to get a subpoena, they have to get some kind of warrant, they have to show just cause to arrest you. Once they've arrested you, you then have the right to actually be seen in front of a judge. You're allowed an attorney, they have to follow certain procedures and protocols. Now, if they were to suspend habeas corpus, it means that they no longer need to do any of that, which means they can take you off the street, throw you in a van, throw you on a bus, throw you on a train or a plane, get you out of the country. There's nothing that you can do to stop this process. That's a fact. Now, what bothers me the most is that we first had an issue about them trying to use outdated laws to actually gather up illegal immigrants, people without papers or citizenship, get rid of them. And it was a law that was back in 1781. Now, that being said, it was deemed unconstitutional and that all people, regardless of citizenship or non-citizenship, are due process. The Supreme Court ruled 9-0 that all people in the United States are afforded the right to due process, regardless of citizenship. Now, if they were able to remove habeas corpus or suspend it as they're trying, then they are doing an end run around the Supreme Court's ruling, and they are basically telling the Supreme Court they're going to refuse to follow the law as it's written in this country. That is contempt. If you or I went to court and the judge told us to do something and we refused to do it, they would hold us in contempt and put us in jail until we complied. But yet this administration is doing the exact same thing without any recourse. What do you guys think? Please leave a comment.
Okay, so showing you what they're going over, around, pretty much doing away with the Constitution, the traditional Constitution, to what? Become more radical. To do it, this is how we know what time we're in. This is how we know the prophecy talks about what a dark Lord, okay, or cruel Lord that's going to rule over the people. Okay, and everything is lining up to what we see happening today. Let's get that real quick. Isaiah 19. I think it's 19:3. And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof. Okay, modern day Egypt would be America, and what you see is why nothing is working. Okay, everything they do, from the economy to businesses to jobs, everything is falling apart. All right, and the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to their idols and to enchanters and to them that have familiar spirits and that to have wizards. Okay, talking about people turning to witchcraft, sorcery for answers. But look at verse 4. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them. Thus says the Lord of hosts. Okay, so that cruel Lord and fierce king is sounding more and more like Donald Trump. Okay, no other president in history has been able to just straight up ignore, go around the Supreme Court, do what the hell they want to do anytime they want to do it. All right, so this is what we see playing out or taking place real time. Let's get Luke 21 and 20. And this is kind of precept into one of the videos I showed earlier, okay, where Trump was speaking, say, hey, the black community need more law enforcement. They need military, boots on the ground, more surveillance. Okay, we're just showing you nothing new under the sun. When this happened in 70 AD, it was right prior to the fall of Jerusalem, right prior to the siege. This is what your Roman military did. They went in and surrounded the cities of Jerusalem while people was, starved them out. When they got weak enough, they sent the Roman military and finished them off. All right, so Luke 21 and 20. Let me get that. And when you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that our desolation is nigh. All right, surrounded with armies in modern day sense is what we're starting to hear now. Okay, these laws and stuff being passed, military, law enforcement, we're sending you straight to these urban areas, straight to these black communities. Luke 19 and 43. For the days shall come upon thee, that thy enemies shall cast a trench about thee and compass thee round about and keep thee in on every side. They shall lay thee even with the ground, and thy children within thee, and they shall not leave thee one stone upon another, because thou knowest not the time of thy visitation. All right. Lamentations 1 and 10. The adversary has spread out his hands up on all her pleasant things, for she had seen the heathen enter into her sanctuary, whom thou didst command that they should not enter into thy congregation. All right, so the heathen is entering or starting to enter into the congregation or our areas again. Habakkuk 3 and 14. But started 13, Habakkuk 3:13. Thou wentest forth for the salvation of thy people, even the salvation with the anointed. Thou wouldest head out of the house of the wicked by discovering the foundation into the next Selah. Thou didst strike through with staves with the head of the villages. They came out as a whirlwind to scatter me. Their rejoicing was to devour the poor secretly. All right.
Vermont Avenue is yours. The game's not over yet.
One moment.
Roll the dice to claim the last two properties. Are you up for the challenge?
Okay. Anyway, let me read 14 again. Thou didst strike through with the staves the head of the villages. They came out as a whirlwind to scatter me. Their rejoicing was as to devour the poor secretly. And that's what it's all about. Devouring the poor, talking about the children of the Lord secretly. Okay. They secretly do it with the legislation, their laws, these think tanks. Okay, but it's up to the men of the Lord to warn, blow the trumpet, warn the people. All right. Let me get Psalms 54 and 7. Uh, 50. Hold on, what scripture was that? Maybe 57. Psalms 74, that's what it is. Psalm 74, 7. They have cast fire into the sanctuary. They have defiled by casting down the dwelling place of thy name to the ground. They said in their hearts, let us destroy them together. They have burned up the synagogues of God in the land. All right. What else? Let me go back to, let's get Isaiah 14 and 12. Just to show you again, this is what this is all about. Okay, they'll fall. So the closer Esau comes to the end, the more aggressive they become against our people. So Isaiah 14:11, thy pomp is brought down to the grave, the noise of thy vows, the worm is spread under thee, the worms cover me. That's talking about the decay, okay, of this place, everything drying up and decaying. But look at verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? Thou art cut down to the ground, which didst weakest the nations. See, so his fall, the Lord is cutting this man down. All right. And let me grab this, let me read this just to be clear. Where is it? Let me get verse 16. Okay, because you got a lot of people think Isaiah 14 is talking about Satan, the spiritual demon. Okay, there is a Satan, the spiritual demon, but this is talking about what? A man or a people that's being cast down from their rulership, from their lofty position within this earth. Okay, so look at verse 16. They that see thee shall narrowly look up on thee and consider thee, saying, is this the man that made the earth to tremble and did his shake kingdoms? Okay, so this is talking about a man or a people, just to be clear on that, showing you this is Esau's rulership. The Lord is casting him down. Luke 10:18. And he said unto them, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven. Okay, going into what? That rulership, his lofty position, fall from heaven. Okay, they ain't talking about heaven while the Heavenly Father dwells. Okay, that's heavens is considered like a lofty position within the earth. Okay, he's falling from his rulership, his high position, is what it's saying. And I'm gonna get one precept on that. I'm gonna get ready to close out, and I'm gonna actually do a lesson on that soon, just to show you. Okay, a lot of people, especially Christians, they see that. Well, they're talking about the Lord kicked the devil out of heaven in the beginning. No, that's talking about Esau falling from his high position within this earth. Matthew 23:11. Let me get that. Let me see. Here we go. Matthew 11:23. And thou, Capernaum, which art exalted unto heaven, thou shalt be brought down to hell. For if the mighty works which have been before thee had been done in Sodom, it would have remained unto this day. Okay, so Capernaum was a particular city at a time that was known for its power, its riches, its glory. Okay, so when it says, and thou, Capernaum, which are exalted into heaven, it's not saying literally they were in the heavens while the Lord is. It's talking about their high status within the earth shall be brought down to hell. See, same thing we read in Isaiah 14. And the Lord say, though you exalt yourself to the cloud, the star will cast you down. Okay, so this is what we're witnessing in the earth. Esau, so-called white man, is being cast down, talking about his power, his dominion within this earth. Everything from his dollar collapse, his influence, his economy. Okay, the Lord is taking them down. So because of that, let's end off. Let's go back to Revelations 12:12. We're going to end out there. Because of that, okay, this is why you're seeing all of these crazy laws and things. Okay, shut up these people. Shut up the people who are speaking truth, prophesy, waking people up. All of these legislation laws are being put in place for when the time comes for the devil to target the people of the Lord. All right, so let's go ahead and end it off here one more time. Revelations 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and the sea, for the devil is come down, and you have a great wrath, because he knoweth that he had but a short time. See that? And verse 13, and when the dragon saw that he was cast into the earth, once again, that falling from grace, from his high position within the earth, which you see happening now, okay, on the verge of what? Total collapse. Okay, transition of power. This is what this is going into. And when the dragon saw that he was cast into the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child. See that? Because he see that he's falling. And according to the prophecy, what's next? When he falls, what? 2nd Ezra 6 and 7. Let's get that. Then answered I and said, what shall be the pardon of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of that followeth? Talking about the end of the world, talking about rulership. What's going to be the end of this current rulership? What's going to be the signs of the next? Verse 8, and he said unto me, from Abraham and to Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau, pertaining to Genesis the 25th chapter, when Esau and Jacob was born. But verse 9 tells us what all that meant. Verse 9, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow it. See that? We are now witnessing, we're in the very end of Esau's world. Jacob world under Yahweh Shah, the Israelite kingdom, that's what follows. See? So this is the lesson we're just showing you. Because he's failed, he's being cast down from heaven, his rulership, the end of his world. He knows this. He knows this dynamic, okay? With the end of Esau's kingdom is prophesied Jacob's rulership would come. Therefore, the target is for the dragon, the devil, to come against Jacob, the children of Israel. See that? So, going back here one last time. Verse 13, Revelation 12 and 13. And when the dragon saw that he was cast into the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child. All right. And verse 17 again. And the dragon was wrought with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of Yahweh and have the testimony of Yahweh Shah Mashiach. See? So those who can see, those who had a testimony. So everything you see happening within the earth, understand it's all about the birthright. Okay, all these letters, they can't come straight out. Hey, we want these people. These are the people. No, everything has this like a long political dog and pony show. We have to sit up this, the pretense for this executive order, this law. Okay, lock up criminals, this, that, but no. The face slowly but surely always turn to these so-called black people. Okay, the children of Israel. All right, so I think the point has been made. We're going to go ahead close it out there. But that's been Esau coming with great rap. His time is up. I pray that this lesson has been edifying. Till next time, we're going to say shalom. We out.